Hi, I'm Elaine Crozier. If I knew in 1972 what I know now, I would have left my husband the day I gave birth to my daughter. I would have left the bastard like a shot to give my daughter and myself a more positive and safe environment to grow in. But back then, there weren't any places for women in crisis to find shelter. And my parents had already disowned me for falling in love and leaving home. So I did what many other women did. I endured. Until one day, 27 years later, it came crashing to a head and I couldn't take it another second. I'm having one hell of a stormy, crazy week. The newspaper guild negotiations at the Daily Freeman have taken an unbelievable downward turn for the composing room. They want to give away full-time benefits in my department for a 25-cent an hour raise for part-time workers in the mailroom. Oh, and the thugs in the mailroom hung a dildo on a light cord and dared women to pull on it. My Neanderthal supervisor referred to a female hire as a cute little snatch. I just need a tiny breath of sanity. However, here I am on my one day off, holding a kitchen light fixture high over my head, while my husband Kerry finagles with the wiring and mechanism. Feels like I've been standing here for hours. My neck aches and my arms are going numb. Out of nowhere, he lashes out with a pair of pliers and whacks me in the face, knocking out a tooth. He has the gall to yell at me for getting in his way. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I scream back. His eyes get that weird, pissed-off glare. "Told you I was never going to pamper you. You don't like it? There's the door." Smiling to myself, I've gone way past more than enough. I'm sick of his malevolent, mindless, drunken swagger. I don't want to answer the phone and have some woman ask for Kerry and hang up when I ask who's calling. Absolutely have had it with this hoarded mess that I have to maneuver around. He won't allow me to have furniture because he says I have no taste. And I'm tired of giving him every cent I earn. But we've been together 30 years. He's a Vietnam veteran. He's been through so much already. My dad was in World War II and had the same issues. I grew up with abuse, violence, and the PTSD that accompanies the men who come home from war. I know how to handle a man like this, and I believe I can help. So I take a deep breath and decide to give him one last chance. You think couples counseling will help? I ask. He sneers, shakes his head, and says, "I don't give a shit," and points to the side door again. That's it, the very last hurrah. I've recently been diagnosed with colon rectal cancer and have had some persistent pain and bleeding. I haven't told Kerry because he previously made it clear that he never agreed to the in-sickness part of the marriage vows and would never care for me if I became ill. I've already made this decision to not go for any conventional treatment. I've been looking for an avenue towards death most of my life, and now I have the roadmap. I walk out of the kitchen, turning my back to him, and tell him I'm moving into the spare room until I can find a place of my own. "Like hell you will," he growls. I look at him like he's from another planet. "You've got to be kidding me. We haven't had sex in 8 months. No matter how much effort I've made to seduce you, you snub me and make me feel like less than dirt. Now you're concerned that I'm leaving your bed?" He snarls, "I don't want you, but I'll kill you before I let anyone else have you." At this point, I just laugh, find him ludicrous. "I'm leaving you for me." I throw my clothes into a pile, carry them to the spare room, and lock the door behind me. He's extremely angry and threatens to knock the door down. He can do it. He's a pretty big guy. He tells me that this is his house and I have to live by his rules. But I've had enough. "Bullshit," I yell back at him and remind him that my money paid for the house. He continues to harass and belittle me, but all I hear is blah, blah, blah. Don't care. I have nothing left to lose. I'm about to pick up a cigarette. I've been smoking as a way to cope for over 20 years. But all of a sudden, I realize I'm going to need the extra money to survive. I put down the cigarette and decide to buy the patch ASAP. Then I consider the other ball and chain, the Kingston Daily Freeman, otherwise known as the cornerstone of misogyny. I decided I want to be free of that too. I draft a resignation letter, but decide to give them 6 months because I'll need my job until I get settled. My hands are shaking and my heart is beating like the percussion section of the New York Philharmonic. But deep underneath all my scarred layers of psyche, I sense an aura of peace and completion rising to the surface. I know I have to leave the room eventually and get past him, but I know that he really can't hurt me any more than he already has. It's almost over, and I feel like I can finally breathe. And that one day, 16 years ago, I left my husband, quit my job, and gave up smoking and never went back to any of them again. It was the first day of many to come that I chose myself. I used to be more concerned that I'd never have a loving and caring relationship with a man, But now I'm too wary and too old to risk getting involved in another sociopath. These days, I'm lucky enough to live in a safe home with my daughter. I'm enjoying my time with her, and I'm so proud of who she has become. Each day passes pretty much like all the others. I take the dogs out, feed the dogs, do the laundry, cook, and clean. I don't have to worry about confrontations or explaining my actions to folks. It's a safe life. I've found an inner peace, confidence, and am aware of my triggers. Recently, I've noticed that strangers have been very civil to me when in the past things get sketchy and mean. Think I must be exuding positive pheromones. A therapist once told me that what you put out in your environment, you get back with interest. I'm a much more complete person than I have ever been, and I'm establishing invisible boundaries that are making life more manageable. I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. Abuse doesn't define me anymore.